So what's going on, Legacy Hack listeners, viewers, subscribers? Thank you for coming back. We appreciate it. We know that the millions of you guys are out there watching us, listening to us, and we appreciate that. We believe that. Um, so it's Jack and I today. Our good buddy Kyle is off actually starting up a new business venture himself, and which is pretty cool. Pretty awesome story how that all kind of came together for him. But Jack and I today are back, and we're going to talk infinite banking. Imagine that. I mean, of course, we're going to talk about that, right, guys? And at the end of the day, we're all about helping you understand this, continue in education, helping you take a deeper step into this. Is I know this is not like part of your norm every day, okay? But if you do have a policy and you're like, hey, I need to understand this more, we're here. If you're actually just kind of checking things out and you haven't put your toe in the water yet, and you're just kind of peeking over the kind of over the fence and saying, what's this IBC and infinite banking or family banking thing all about? Welcome. So today our episode, I actually Jack and I both listened to this podcast episode recently, and it was actually two gentlemen, and one of the gentlemen was actually Jason Lowe, all right, and he's got 77 policies that he owns. Jack, I mean, just
Across
real
his
quick,
family.
yeah, let's kind of qualify that statement, right? So across his whole family, but he says he owns those, and then I mean that's a pretty bold statement right there
Yep.
that he owns those. So talk
About a,
about control
yeah, about
of
a
a
million and a
system.
half in premium that he says he pays in annually.
Yes. So I think that's pretty that's pretty far out there for me. Okay. Granted, I've got seven policies myself. So I mean, but I'll have 77. Um, but he makes a statement in there, Jack, um, that again, for me in my finite, Jack, I live in the South. All right. People have told me I talk really slow. I'll go ahead and tell you that my SAT score, I did good enough just to get my name on there to get credit just for that. Okay. Um, but at the end of the day, I have to have things very simple, right? And simply said to me too is a really good thing because if you say it's simple enough for me, man, I'm like I can latch onto it and I can understand that. And he said this statement in there, Jason did, about infinite banking that really kind of you and I we kind of want to talk about this a little bit. And that statement was infinite banking, all it is you taking back control of the financing element of your life, pretty much.
Hmm.
Okay. So I love that because as you know, as Nelson Nash says, look, your everything in life is finance, no matter what you look at. And so you're taking back control by actually doing infinite banking of the financing element of your life. I love that statement because it's very simple for me to understand. I want to hear, we're going to riff on this a little bit. So, Jack, let me hear your thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like goes back to what's the original like purpose of infinite banking. I think we can easily get kind of lost in the weeds of how does whole life work? How does IUL work? How can we optimally structure this so that we have the most access to our cash right away? And those things are important in playing out this process well. But something they brought up was like, in order to know what to do, you need to know what the problem is or
Mm,
yeah, like what you're really after. And yeah, a big problem that we have in kind of the way we do traditional finance in this country is we're told to send our dollars to accounts and places that are often outside of our control, whether that's qualified plans that we can't really access until 59 and a half. I just watched a video today of a guy who wanted to withdraw $20,000 from his bank, went in and did that, and he overheard the like bank teller with the bank manager say, "We only have $50,000 here. So if we give him 20, we only have 30 left. So let's give him 10 and then ask another bank for another 10." And it's like,
Wow. Are you serious that he
that's
overheard that?
yeah. Yeah, it was this like post on X, and a lot of people were chiming in like this is totally normal. This is just how our banking system works. And
Sure.
the reality that 90% plus of the dollars that get deposited with the bank get loaned back out is very real. And we even there, like we aren't really in control of those dollars. Like if we need it, like it might not be at that bank. Um,
Yeah.
it's just kind of fake money floating around in our in our world. Um, anyways, that was a tangent, but um, yeah, how we if we don't have access to cash, we need to borrow to be able to finance the major purchases and investments of life. And yeah, banks are the ones we go to for that, and they're the ones that profit from that process because they pay very
Yeah.
little to depositors and earn a lot more interest when they loan.
Well, and we've talked about this in other episodes, and I just remember us talking about this that in life there is no way you escape the banking function in your life.
Hmm.
You can't escape it. It's some way, shape, or form, unless you sit there and take your money and put it underneath your what mattress, okay, or put in coffee cans and bury it, right? You're going to put your money somewhere,
Hmm.
okay, and majority of us put it in a bank,
Yep.
and so we can't escape this at all. So yeah, I totally agree with you what you're saying right there. We're going to put it in some kind of account, whether it be a 401k or whether it be a CD or just a market, just a regular savings account. You're going to put your money somewhere,
Hmm.
you know.
Yep.
And what we do today, kind of what this whole infinite banking thing is another way. All right,
Yep.
it's not the way. It's
Yep.
another way to actually where to put your money.
Yep.
Right? All right,
Yeah.
Jack.
And reminds me of another, I believe, Nelson Nash quote of he who has the gold makes the rules. So
Yeah.
like banks, I mean, I get notifications or pieces of mail all the time like, hey, we'll give you a $300 bonus if you deposit X amount with us. And it's like they want the money so they can make the rules and lend to people who have opportunities in front of them where they need capital. So yeah, I mean, you don't have insurance carriers advertising, hey, structure a cash value life insurance policy uniquely so that you can create your own pool of capital that you can borrow against when opportunities come your way so you don't need a bank. Like that's too much for people. But
Yeah.
and I think like it's interesting having been in this business almost 6 years now and having clients, including myself and my own policy that like it's awesome now to take a policy loan from what I've built up and see my next premium go in and increase my cash value by more than what I paid into it. Like
Hmm.
I think it's easy because we're such a short term minded people to like it's not beneficial like in the early years to borrow unless you have like some great investment or private lending opportunity where you're gonna make a lot more back than what you paid into that thing. Like
Hmm.
the policy doesn't start working that well until probably like year 5 onward, maybe
Yep.
earlier with one of these max funded IULs. But um, yeah, it takes time to develop your
Yep.
own banking system. And I think, yeah, I'm excited for especially some early clients to really start reaping the benefits of financing things in their life.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with another gentleman uh 2 days ago, and he's a fairly young guy, and the deal is I'm like, look, you creating this system is not this one and done. It's not a get rich quick. Okay. Um, what the system is you're going to be capitalizing, okay, or funding your system consistently. Keyword consistently,
Hmm.
right? That's a big piece of that. And then being patient along the way was what I was telling them. Like, so it's not gonna be a year. It's gonna be at least a couple of years, like you're saying. Of letting those reserves kind of build up, and then honoring that system, right, with actually repaying any loans with interest to strengthen back, your bank. All
Hmm.
right. Um, kind of funny that you talk about the system and just leaving the reserves in there. Um, you know, I don't know if I shared this on our last one or not, Jack. So, but I was talking with Ryan, and he let me know that one of my policies that's been around for now over 4 years, coming up on year five, actually, we're now in the black with it. So the amount of money I put in we're now at $1.02, so to speak.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, and it's now, so that amount of money is now producing more than what is actually in there. And
Yeah.
that's this whole entire thing of funding what you have, and creating that bank. Um, but now, because of that, we're able to take control. Like, I know I've used this a couple times, but Tyler Jr. is getting ready to want to buy a car.
Yep.
And so instead of me going to the traditional um, bank, or even uh, the financing piece that they want to sell me at the car dealership, all right, where that they are going to make the money.
Hmm.
Okay. There's a reason why they want you to finance the vehicle, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, and they can give you a even probably deeper discount, all right, on that. But no, 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 because I've learned now over the last 5 years that I finance everything, all right?
Yeah.
And now I'm taking control of that, and I'm keeping that interest within my family system, right,
Hmm.
Jack?
Yep.
And so it's not a product. This is not just a product. This is a process.
Hmm.
And realizing that we're financing things every day, no matter what.
Yeah.
Um, and I love the statement about we're taking control of the financing element or the financing arm of what we do every day.
Hmm.
And that just sums up, basically what IBC is,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah. And to get really specific on the interest that's being recaptured, I think it's more so like let's say you have $100,000 of cash value, you borrow out 50 to go do something. The
Yep.
interest that you pay on that loan is a cost that goes back to the life insurance carrier. The
Yep.
interest that you earn on the full $100,000 of your cash value, not just the 50, because 50 technically went out, but that 50 is the life insurance carrier's money they're willing to loan to you because you
Yep.
have this contract with them.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, what Nelson talks about of like you're either paying interest to someone else or losing out on interest you could have earned. With this, you're not losing out on the interest that your original dollars should and could earn. you're kind of earning on that and like have an interest cost to the carrier. But the power of earning compounding interest on a growing amount of cash value for your whole life is going to far outweigh the interest cost that you pay to access money when you have opportunities come your way. Which, yeah, that's the beauty of this. And to get into the weeds on the benefit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think it's great. And, Jack, you do such a great job of getting the weeds. You're such a detailed dude. I'm not, again, like I said before, I'm just from Georgia, and I just know when I see a good opportunity, and I'm smart enough to jump on a good opportunity. Um, Jack, is kind of wrapping down with all this right here. I know that we talk about Nelson Nash a lot. And guys, let me say this, okay? So if you've never gone out and read Becoming Your Own Banker, I think that'd be a great book for you to read. It covers, so many good points, and it's honestly, it's kind of how I guess the only way to say it's kind of our Bible of, you know, I don't know if you'd agree with that statement right there. But it's definitely one of the big textbooks. If we had a class in college, we would probably be inside this book quite a bit.
Yep.
Would you agree with that, Jack?
100%. I think as you read that book, the amount, like, you'll quickly see, and there's a book list in the back of all the books that Nelson has read, but he was probably one of the most well-read gentlemen in his generation.
Hmm.
And you feel that when you're reading because of all the analogies he can give in the kind of bigger picture, economic, philosophical, a lot of scripture in that book.
Yeah,
It's just very well-rounded and like an entertaining read on top of being super educational around this topic. I think some people are like, oh, it's old, like you wrote it in the what, like early 2000s now.
yeah,
But yeah, it's a great read and well worth anyone's time.
well worth it. Yeah, and speaking of, I think maybe our next episode we might go ahead and pepper it, Jack. That we might talk about our faith and infinite banking
Yeah.
and how the Bible, kind of brings all this together and how we kind of look at it through the lens of actually the Bible. I think it'd be a great topic that we'll talk about right there.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, that's it. That's all we wanted to talk about today. That guess what? You can actually take control of the financing piece of your life. You can. You have the opportunity to do that, and this is a way to do that. All right. So if you definitely, just like, hey, I like what you're hearing. Down below in the kind of note section right there, or Jack's Calendly link, uh, access to his calendar or my calendar or Kyle's calendar. Go ahead and click on it, hop on that right there, and get a time with us. We'd love to have a conversation with you. And again, this is an education process. It's not going to be like we're trying to sell you on this. This is a process that we're going to educate you on to make sure you make a right decision. So, without further ado, we're going to call it a wrap, put a bow on it, and we'll see you guys next time.